Chair of the European Parliamentary Delegation to Sri Lanka, Jean Lambert, says that at no point does the EU underestimate the importance of the Northern Provincial Council elections. Lambert made this statement at a media briefing convened today by the EU Parliamentary Delegation that is in the island for the 7th Inter-Parliamentary meeting.
These are elections which, of course, we from the European Parliament very much welcome as part of the international community, let alone people in Sri Lanka. These are elections that we have wanted to see held. We do not underestimate for 1 minute the importance of these elections in the Northern Province. That it's something which is, if they are free, if they are fair, if people are allowed to campaign freely, then they will, and the results are accepted as coming from a free and fair election, with parties able to campaign freely throughout the election period, not just people being able to cast their vote on election day. That will be very important, and it's an important step in moving the political process a little bit further forward and in trust building.
Lambert also stressed on the importance of a political settlement and a thriving democracy.
Everyone that we have met on this visit, from whatever community, has made it clear they do not wish to see a return of violence, and therefore the importance of a political settlement, political moves forward, and that sort of confidence building again is important. A thriving democracy is important for people's well-being, it's important for the economy, it's important for bringing new ideas in for part of that move forward for this country and for all its citizens. We have raised concerns that have also been raised with us about making sure that the military doesn't become an everyday part of your economy and everyday life. That's not usually what people join the military to do.
ප්‍රවෘත්තියකට කිව්වා මේ පොහොර ප්‍රශ්නේ සම්පූර්ණ විසඳුණා කියලා. ගෙවල් දෙකක ටීවී පොලේ ගැහුවා.
ඒ පොලේ ගහදින මුළු ලංකාවේම ඔය ගෙවල් දෙකේ විතරක් වෙන්නේ නැති.
In an update to a story that we reported on last night, 2 sets of clothing similar to army uniforms and a pair of shoes worn by army officers were found in the house of the suspect who was killed in police fire in the Huludagoda area in Mount Lavinia.
Newsfirst visited a house located in the Huludagoda area in Mount Lavinia today, the scene of the shooting. However, occupants of the house informed that entrance to the house is not permitted until investigations have concluded due to security reasons. The room which the victim occupied has been locked. The police media unit said that a live hand grenade, a repeater firearm and a revolver was found inside the room. The police said that investigations into the shooting is underway with the supervision of the Mount Lavinia Assistant Superintendent of Police. The individual was killed in police retaliatory fire when he opened fire at a group of officers of the Anti-Narcotics Bureau who had attempted to search the suspect's house last evening following a tip-off. The identity of the deceased is yet to be ascertained.
A mother and her newborn were separated at the Sri Jayawardhanapura hospital due to non-payment to hospital bills. Newsfirst made inquiries into this report, keeping in mind the grave consequences that could befall both mother and child as a result of separation anxiety.
This morning, the Newsfirst team met with Roshni Nilawala, who was receiving in-house treatment at Ward 9 of the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital. A resident of Maggona, Kalutara, she suffered from abdominal pains on the 26th of last month while en route to her mother's house and was admitted to the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital. The doctors determined that the infant needed to be birthed via caesarean surgery. According to Roshni Nilawala, her newborn was taken to the premature infants unit as the doctors said that the child had heart and lung complications. Roshni's husband, a carpenter by profession, said that he had paid a sum of 65,000 rupees of the hospital bill. He added that, however, a sum of 87,271 rupees had been billed for the child and his wife's hospital bill had reached 50,000 rupees. On their request, the child was transferred to the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children.
Though the father of this child and several others informed the hospital authorities regarding this, they have not responded. When a child is born, the child should be with the mother so the child can be breastfed. Human rights were violated here. This is a serious wrongdoing. No matter what, the child should be with the mother. There have been instances where VIPs, politicians and those who bring letters from the minister have obtained treatment from the hospital and have left without paying their bills.
When taking a closer look at this document, it is clear that politicians, their associates and persons with letters from those politicians seek treatment and leave without paying bills, providing the statement made by the trade unions. However, Roshni and her newborn have been forced to stay at two separate hospitals. The mother, separated from her newborn, made this request.
Earlier this evening, Roshni's husband contacted the news desk and informed us that the hospital authorities had allowed Roshni to leave the hospital. If this step was taken 4 days ago, Roshni and her newborn would have never been separated.
In other local news, doctors of the Government Medical Officers Association in the Central Province engaged in a strike today. The media spokesperson of the GMOA, Dr. Navin de Soisa, said that the strike was staged in protest against the governor of the Central Province.
Doctors of the Government Medical Officers Association in the Central Province staged this strike action, disrupting services at hospitals in the Central Province. A correspondent said, however, that registered and assistant medical practitioners in the Central Province did not join the strike.
They say they are on strike. The nurses are providing us medicine.
They are engaged in a strike. The nurse gave us a card to obtain medicine.
We can't stay in line any longer, so we are leaving. I'll have to get medicine from a pharmacy. We arrived at the clinic today, but the doctor like we have to join a long queue to get medicine, so we are going back home.
Media spokesperson of the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Navin de Soisa, explained the reasons for the strike. The governor of the Central Province arrived uninvited to the meeting by insulting the doctors who were present. The governor of the Central Province has behaved in a manner unfit for a governor on previous occasions as well. Therefore, the Central Province branch of the GMOA decided to engage in a 24-hour strike action together with all pharmacies, rural hospitals, base hospitals, district hospitals, MOH officers in the Central Province and the Noor Elliot General Hospital. Governor of the Central Province, Tikiriko Bakadu, expressed the following views. I have no issue with the doctors. In fact, I respect the doctors. I reject claims that I have behaved in an indisciplined manner. If you ask the director, he would tell you about my behavior. I believe that doctors have inconvenienced patients in the Central Province based on various other reasons.
Teachers' unions charged the question papers for school end-of-term examinations in the Piliyandala education zone contain numerous errors. The unions charged that these cannot be considered merely as printing errors.
Teachers' unions charge that there were several errors in the Buddhism and life skills question paper that were provided to students in the Piliyandala zone for the end-of-term examinations. They say that the errors were not just typographical, but errors in the questions themselves. This is one example. This frivolous toying around with the future of the children must be stopped. At the very least, properly compile an end-of-term examination paper and show us that they have taken steps for education. In the final sense, what will happen is that parents will have had enough of public education and will remove their children from schools. That is why we are calling on education authorities to halt this frivolity and stop toying with the futures of the 4 million children in this country. Chief Minister and Minister of Education of the Western Province, Prasanna Ranatunga, expressed these views regarding the errors in the question papers. The examination papers were prepared by the teaching advisors in Piliyandala. They had prepared the examination papers and sent it to the printing press. Although they had corrected in the examination paper, it had been printed with the errors. The teaching advisors are at fault here. This error happened because of their negligence. They directed the examination papers to the schools without rechecking the papers. This is what was informed to me by the Ministry Secretary. I instructed the Secretary to conduct an investigation into this. After preliminary investigations, the Ministry Secretary informed me that this error happened due to negligence. Measures have been taken to conduct an extensive investigation. I believe that the Secretary to the Ministry has already decided to take legal action against those responsible.